Welcome to another episode of Cultivate. This is a show about you and your journey in the cannabis industry. It's moving fast, but there's room for everyone. Buckle up as we bring you the people and the technology that are blazing the trail. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Boveda's Cultivate podcast. We're bringing you the people and the technology that are blazing a trail in the cannabis industry. My name's Drew.
This is Scott. We've got Garett from FunkSac with us today, live at MJBiz.
I couldn't be more excited about this interview, man. We met you in the beginning. This is when I first started going to shows, and you were hustling FunkSacs.
Yep.
And what was your life like then? Because this, you got to stick with us for this, because this unfolds into a beautiful story that Garett's going to share with us.
So, where did FunkSac come from?
How'd you end up getting into that?
And what is FunkSac?
So, FunkSac is a cultivation bag used for curing and storage of cannabis and hemp. You can't smell through it, and I'll go some of there's a UV protection, so it allows you to hold product in a bag for a long period of time without it degrading. And it's got several different technologies involved in it. I originally developed the technology. I was in the military, and second time in Somalia, lost several members of the team, and developed an odorless body bag after I got out of the military. And once I came up with that, I filed a patent. I said, what am I going to do with this? How do I monetize it? So I launched a poo bag company then called Odorno. It was originally called Odorno, and you can use it for diapers, incontinence, and pet waste. Put a diaper in it, tie it closed, throw it away, it won't smell. So we started testing different things to show the smell couldn't. We would test dogs. So then the local police invited me to test some dogs with cannabis, and all the dogs couldn't find it. I was like, well, that proves that a human can if a dog can't smell it. And I thought, wow, look at this industry. And then my brother got cancer and passed away when he was 47. My friend, we were giving him cannabis while he was in hospice. And all my friends were putting their weed in my shit bags. And so I said, hey, there's this whole new developing industry called marijuana out there. Let's go out there.
And we met you at like a Champs or a big industry
show.
Big show. Yeah, we were a big industry show.
Yeah.
In LA?
Yeah, it might have been in LA.
It was in Vegas, the first one.
In Vegas,
Okay.
right. Okay.
And I just said, hey, I'm going to go try this out. And I got a booth, and I said, I can't call it Odorno. That's not cool. So I came up with the name FunkSac.
So how many years ago was that?
I founded FunkSac in 2012.
Wow.
2012. So 7 short years later.
Yeah.
What's happened?
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, the industry's grown. So FunkSac started to take off. I did child-resistant bags. I had odorless bags. And the original reason for it is curing. You can put cannabis in a bag and store it for up to a year, and hence we use your product and we put it in there with it, and it keeps the humidity perfect.
That's why it works so great. We have the same mission to
Well, I think it's
preserve
just awesome. You pretty much, we didn't seek you out. You really,
No, I found you.
you found us, right?
Because I had customers that were telling me I should come find you, because they put that in there, and they said you should contact them, and the Boveda guys would be happy to talk to you. And I came and showed up, and I showed you my bag, showed you my sack.
It's always a great approach when a guy shows up. And
So you have the FunkSac, and now you have the HempSac.
So I've been in the marijuana side for a while, and then I saw all my big customers transitioning over to hemp a couple years ago, and I said, what's this? And I started looking into it and saw the difference between cultivation and the marijuana industry and farming.
And these are a lot bigger, denominations.
And I said, well, I'm not going to have a giant FunkSac that holds 500 pounds of marijuana, but I need one for hemp. Let's just launch another brand called HempSac.
And now, is it the same technology, or is it?
I modified it a little bit. The core principles are there. There's a vapor barrier and an odor barrier, so you don't have mold. There's 2 UV layers. So you protect the plastic, and you also protect the contents. And so mold is a big thing. And then I had to make them thicker. Instead of 1.8 mil, I made them 3 or 4 mil. And so you could store a lot of weight in there.
And then how do you seal them?
So you can either heat seal them, but we just tie them in a knot. And then they store inside of a super sack. so you can move them easily.
Right.
And it preserves the value of the CBD.
For
And,
how long?
We've had people that have held it for 9 or 10 months. They usually use it before then.
Right.
But it allows you to hold that, protect it. And you know what? The market conditions are so unpredictable with hemp. And that's how I started my other brand, Commodity, as I have a hemp company now, because none of the farmers had any outlets. I'm selling them sacks. And they're like, well, what am I going to do with my sack? Well, you can hold it for a year or I'll take it.
Yeah. So you created a marketplace for hemp.
So yes, I have Commodity, which is I'll buy it and then I process it at ethanol extraction, and we make CBD isolate, water soluble, crude.
Yep.
And we also help a lot of the farmers in our co-ops and some of the organizations we help. We'll help them move their products. So there's a lot of biomass out there, and we have a lot of uses for it. Because
So
it's
now-
all about having distribution.
So you're still hustling just as hard as you were ever hustling in the beginning, but this has blown up into something you couldn't have possibly anticipated.
No, I didn't. I came from software before, and I thought software was hyper growth. This is something I've never seen. I mean, 6 years ago when I spoke at the first MJBiz con back then, it was several hundred people at the Renaissance, and then all of a sudden we're at the Rio, and then kept growing, and then they kicked us out of the Rio. Then we come to the convention center last year, 25,000 people. This year, 35,000. Next year, there'll be 50,000. I mean, I've never seen it grow so quickly. Marijuana was fast, but hemp is hockey stick growth.
So is hemp bigger? Is a bigger part of your business than marijuana
it
is?
is. I mean, cannabis, I still have that side on the FunkSac, but hemp is where our priority is. My hemp business has grown. It all came from the sack.
Yep.
From meeting farmers and providing a good technology for them and building trust. And this industry has a lot of different characters in it. You got to be careful about who you do business with. And so they see that longevity and they know I'm not going to steer them wrong.
Are you having to do a lot of education for these hemp farmers? I mean, we're finding that a lot of them know how to grow it, but as soon as they grow it, they have no idea what to do after the fact.
So that's the next big thing is they don't. All these people went and grew hemp, and you're hearing horror stories about how it's going bad and molding, and they don't have outlets. The big thing is you don't know how to dry it. It takes a big facility to hang dry. If you don't have a drying machine or somewhere to hang dry it, it's going to go bad, and you got to get that moisture content below 10%, and then you can store it in a bag, and you store it in a bag for a long period of time to protect it. And then you can wait for that market, because when everyone harvests, the market crashes. But then 4 or 6 months down the road, while biomass starts coming back up, and you can preserve that. You don't have to extrude it right away. You can sit on it, store it, and wait for that market to go.
And we're finding that too a lot of these hemp farmers anticipated they were going to grow hemp and it was going to go into smokable hemp. Then they found out, okay, well, this isn't either high enough quality or the market's not there, and now it's sitting in biomass, and we have people that are sitting on 30,000 pounds and don't know what to do with it.
I can't tell you how many people have approached me at this show to buy biomass that are sitting on 50, 70, 80,000 pounds that they don't know what to do with it. I met with a large public company yesterday that's sitting on 70,000 pounds right now, and they want me to move it or help them move it. And the thing is, the CBD level is not high enough to where you need it, and the market it's flooded right now. I can buy biomass so cheap, and he's trying to maximize that value. I said, well, store it for a while, store it correctly in a dark, dry place. Make sure you just take our best practices into place, and then 6 months down the road, you want to extract it, you can, or you can sell it.
How much is biomass going per pound?
It's kind of funny because last year it was about $2.50 to $3.50 per percent per pound, and now it's below $1 per percent per pound.
Say that again.
Last year I was paying $2.50 to $3.50 per percent per pound based on where it is, and now I'm getting offers under $1 per percent.
Per percent
per pound. So 10%, you're at $10 per pound. whereas last year was 40 on average, about $40 or so.
Wow.
Down.
Oh, because there's that much more production.
There is just in. I mean, yeah, the states alone, you look at their numbers and how much. Last year we had less than 26,000 acres. This year over 80,000 acres. And then even more that didn't come to fruition.
What state is producing the most hemp?
I believe right now it's Colorado. It's either Colorado or Oregon. Kentucky's making a big run on it. And some of these programs that have well-established pilot programs like Kentucky has, and the experience that comes out of Colorado, those three are the leaders. But there's some of those other states that now have been farming and they're wanting to transition. I live in Ohio. I'm on the Ohio Hemp Board writing the rules for Ohio. And I get calls every day of people. We start licensing in January and people are ready to grow, but they don't need, we're putting together a best practices with the state and a co-op that says, hey, I'll help you with genetics, and these are our best practices. This is what works in the environment with the soil types. We work with Ohio State, who did a pilot program on our genetics, and tie it to some of the education that's there and best practices, and then help them plan. So we offer, I'll help you grow it. If you think you have a market for it, you can go sell it. That's great. Or you can join a co-op and we'll do a revenue share. Where we'll extract it and sell it, and we'll do a profit share.
Awesome.
If people want to find out more info about FunkSac and HempSac, ask you questions about hemp, where can they find you?
So FunkSac.com, HempSac.com, and Commodity.com.
It's SAC.
SAC, FunkSac.com, as
Awesome.
well as Hemp SAC.
Okay, so now beyond the development of these businesses, that, I mean, it's 7 short years. You've gone from, is this going to work? You know, development of a patent around body bags and bags for dog refuse. You've grown a business to a place now where I know you live in Ohio, but you also have a place out west somewhere.
We have operations in Colorado, Las Vegas, and then I plan on going to Tahoe. But I live in Cleveland, Ohio.
So you're actually involved in the growing process too.
I wasn't before, but now because of the SAC, I got drawn into it, and now I work with farmers on best practices. We grow in New York, North Carolina, Florida, and Ohio's coming on board January.
Well, it's awesome to get connected with you because, as Scott was saying, we get questions every week. People are calling us talking about the beautiful crop of hemp that they have, that they just took it down or they're about to take it down, and they're talking about, I don't have a customer for it, and I don't really know how. They don't necessarily say it this way, but they're indicating that they don't have a plan for how they're going to cut it, trim it, store it, process it, dry it,
and I
cure
think,
it.
I mean, they're open to, they want to learn. And that's the thing, is they jumped into this and saw the opportunity and
fire, ready, aim.
yes.
Well, and if nothing else, they've done something wonderful for their land, because you run hemp on your property for a year and you pretty much
Cleans the
remove
soils, it takes the heavy metals out. It's very good. It's easy to grow. It's a weed. But you have to know what you're doing if you want to maximize. And it also goes for what you're doing. If you're extracting CBD, CBG, or any of the cannabinoids, or industrial, there's a big future for biofuels. There's a big future for industrial hemp. These are hemp pants. Wow. I mean, there's a lot of different things that can come of this plant.
Now, are you involved in that too?
No, I like Prana pants though, and they make a nice hemp pant.
Awesome.
But I met the guys at a show.
That's awesome.
An industry show.
2019 is coming to a close quickly. What are your plans for 2020?
Well, I've got a couple of brands. I'm working on master distribution for HempSac, and I've got a couple of people that I'm finalizing details on that. FunkSac, I'm working with some partners to take that and run with it a little more. I know to get out of my own way. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not an operations guy. And so I'm bringing on some help to take some off my plate and let me do what I do best. And then we're going to grow the hemp business quite a bit. I think these next 3 years are going to be really big for hemp, and I think you're going to see a lot more. I think you're going to see legalization of marijuana, descheduling very soon.
Yep.
And I think this industry, if this show doesn't show it, I mean, look at how far this has come. This is a real valid industry, and I like seeing both sides. There's the cannabis side, which is the marijuana guys that I've been in business with forever and have grown a great friendship with. And now there's all the farmers, which looking at their perspective is a completely different than the marijuana side.
We'd love to be involved in coordinating some best practices for post-harvest care and storage and
The Boveda,
preservation.
you guys are in my best practices already. I'll share that with you.
Awesome.
For
Awesome.
storage and for different sizes and humidity
Love
packs for different.
I got to tell you, going back to those first shows where I had the chance to meet you, we'd see you almost everywhere. You've worked your tail off.
I do, yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
get
put a
accused
lot
of
of
that.
you put a lot of effort in. Nobody's worked harder to get where you've gotten. It's awesome to see your success.
Thank you.
Really happy for you. Fun to see it. Love to be more involved in what you're doing, and can't thank you enough for taking the time to be on Boveda's little podcast.
Thank you very much
Yeah.
for having me.
Thank you.
I appreciate the relationship we've had, and I love your products.
Thanks much.
Any
That's-
social media handles or anything?
So Commodity, HempSac, FunkSac, and I have another brand called Pink Posy. That's a gynecology brand for my girlfriend is a gynecologist, and we're launching a CBD brand that's patches for cramping,
Yep.
Yeah.
and then a suppository for endometriosis, as well as pain, and then a lubricant as well, that are all being studied by a medical facility and being backed, because we need to bring clinical research
Yeah.
to it, and it made for a nice birthday gift for her too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Dude, that's awesome. That is awesome.
It's good.
So that's Garett Fortune. And you had the name before you built the fortune, right?
I'm very lucky to be born into
Yeah.
it.
Thanks for your service in the Army.
Thank
Yep.
you very much.
And we always appreciate that. And pretty awesome to think about where this all started and what you're looking at today.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a fun ride.
Oh, awesome. Garett Fortune, thanks for being with us, man.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, we'll see you again.